Hey everyone, this is Pete. Welcome back to Atari ST A to Z, a series of short playthroughs of Atari ST games, some which I grew up with and some which are new to me. This is one of the former. This is Ninja Mission. Now, if you've been watching the Atari A to Z series that focuses on Atari 8-bit games, you may recall that we've seen this game already once in its Atari 8-bit incarnation. And during that episode, I mentioned that there was an ST version, and so I thought it might be an interesting exercise to compare the two. So here we are with the ST version. So, the obvious immediate difference is in the graphics. So we've got much higher resolution graphics, much greater use of colour, a significantly sort of improved set of backdrops. But the actual core gameplay is almost identical. So it's still a combination of action-adventure, beat-em-up and fighting game, in which you work your way through these rooms, beating up enemies along the way, trying to collect idols, and ultimately find your way up to the top of the dojo here. Or at the very least, trying to score as many points as possible along the way. And so just like the 8-bit original, we have effectively a fighting game that uses just one button in conjunction with the various directions on the joystick to trigger various different moves. And those controls are the same as they are in the original 8-bit version. So you can just walk left and right. You can jump. You can use your sword by holding down the button and pushing diagonally up and away from yourself. You can punch with just the fire button. Kick forwards by pushing forwards with the fire button. And various other moves along the way as well. And so a cool part of playing this game is coming to understand how you control your ninja, how these different moves are effective in various ways, and how to defeat these different opponents you come across. It's not the deepest game by any stretch of the imagination, but as you can see, the enemies aren't terribly smart. They're really not smart at all, it seems. But yeah, it's interesting because, like I said back in the Atari 8-bit episode on this was actually my first contact with the idea of a ninja. It was my first contact with a lot of ideas of Japanese culture. And I think probably one of the earliest fighting games or beat-em-ups that I played as well. So while it by no means is amazing by modern standards, particularly with regard to artificial intelligence, it's definitely a very interesting game, and one that I have some extremely fond memories of. And these graphics on this 16-bit version are actually really nice. They're not nicer than I remembered, actually. But I find it kind of amusing that, just like in the original Atari 8-bit version, you've got all these nice graphics, and then the interface at the bottom is just using the system default font. So on the 8-bit I could kind of understand why they do that, because they've got very limited memory to work with, so if you can afford to sacrifice a custom character set, you probably would. But on the ST, you had a lot more memory to play with. And as we've seen in a couple of games in this series already, a lot of developers were very fond of using the game interface as a means of showing off their artist's graphical capabilities. I guess I thought it wasn't especially important in this particular game. Which is fine, because we've certainly got some lovely graphics on the backgrounds. Oh, I'm dead. Alright, let's have one more go. Back to the start for us. With no music, apparently. There we go, that's better. So, as in the 8-bit version, these idols will restore your health, but you're also supposed to be collecting them as you're proceeding through. And there's also a semi-randomised element to the game as well, in terms of which enemies you'll encounter. So there's 3 different enemies you'll come across. There's the thugs, who are the weakest, then there's the karatekas, and then there's the evil ninjas. The evil ninjas are the most dangerous because they have access to all the same abilities that you do, so they are able to pick up the ninja stars and throw them back at you. They are able to use a sword just like you can. And so you have to be quite careful when fighting them. I did always like the option in this that you had the option to walk normally or in stance. So just by pushing diagonally down, you can walk in stance even when you're not actually engaged in combat. That's something I always rather liked. I always find the music in this quite catchy as well. It's a very clear example of the ST sound chip at work. So it's making use of a lot of distinctive waveforms that you'll hear in a lot of Atari ST music. And it's also a different tune to the 8-bit original as well. And then when the music isn't playing, we have the usual ST weedy sound effects. Thanks to that dear old Yamaha PSG chip. Three of them. The other two don't seem overly concerned so far. So I will punch him in his left tit repeatedly until he falls over. I feel we've found a flaw in this game. But, well, if it allows you to make progress where you would not normally be able to, so be it. Since I was never very good at this game and never got very far in it, I'm going to take any advantage I can get. Getting a bit low on health. Let's hope there's an idol somewhere. Three ninjas. Oh no. This is where it ends. I can feel it now. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, that was Ninja Mission. Originally published by Mastertronic on the Atari 8-bit, and I believe the ST version was as well. That's that. Yeah, like I say, not the best game by any means, but certainly worth checking out if you want to see an early example of an action-adventure that incorporates elements of beat-em-ups and fighting games. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. New episodes of Atari A to Z are on Tuesdays and Atari ST A to Z on Thursdays. Check out atariatoz.wordpress.com for a full archive. Do please also check out my other projects moegamer.net, where I explore Japanese and Japanese-inspired games from yesterday and today, and videopackgames.wordpress.com, which aims to catalogue a small but well-formed library of the Philips G7000 Videopack computer, also known as the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You can also support my work on Patreon or buy me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.